when we all graduated college and had our own lives, we put our mom back to get her. She sacrificed her whole life for us to get her PhD from Columbia. When she came home in education, when she came home, I asked her what the common denominator of all the students that go to Columbia was. And it wasn't money. It wasn't private schools. It wasn't even that they read books. The most common denominator at Ivy League schools is that they ate dinner together with their families.
Amen.
How important, you talk about that emotional aspect of food. I feel the same way. How, that energetic emotional side with street art, sneakers, and food, have you been able to reconcile those emotions? Is there a certain feeling that you get? Do you get into the flow? Because obviously this is coming through you, not from you.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I think there's just certain things in my life, and I think everybody can agree that there's just moments of like this childlike happiness that just you connect with certain things that, just resonate with you, whether, culturally, if it was a particular dish or a particular snack or something. So I think there's a certain nostalgia that we've been able to combine with this category of sneakers and incorporating art and food that just brings happiness. I've had the experience of giving somebody a pair of shoes, and the art is on the bottom through our clear soles where I, hand draw all the art. So it's almost an unveiling when they pick up the shoe out of the box and then they flip it over and they see the flavor, and it's like, oh, this is baklava, or this is chicken and waffles, or this is, shrimp and grits. And it's like, oh, I remember my grandma made the best shrimp and grits ever, And that's some sort of connection that emotionally ties everybody together, like you said, through food and through the, the family experience of that, through friends and family and stuff. So.
And that sneak peek, that unveiling, also is if the person displays them, or even if they wear them, people are just getting a little glimpse as they're there, and they're going to seek and stimulate interest. And hey, what is that on the bottom of your shoe?
Yeah.
And it creates a great lesson and story. It connects us through that emotional aspect that's attached to food and sneakers, in the conversation, of course, around art itself. How'd you come up with the idea?
Always eating. No, I grew up a sneakerhead. I said I've been in the arts my whole life. So it just was one of those aha moments when I was like, I was looking at a pair of my sneakers and I was like, okay, that's my black pair, my white pair. And I was like, it'd be really cool if you could change the mentality of the way we even connect with sneakers. You know what I mean? So I wanted to find a way to give them a personality. So like when we first launched early on, the black sneakers that we premiered with were called cupcakes. So it was just really, really cool for people to connect with their shoes in that way. And it's like, oh, these are my cupcakes and I'm wearing, my sugars today, or my kiwi strawberries. And it just kind of reimagined the way people even thought about, their sneakers, giving them a personality was my intention. And, obviously along with kind of spreading that happiness that I get through seeing them, so that was my vision behind it all.
Have you thought about collaborating with some of the superstars that have, their own, Travis Matthews shoes, or Michael Jordan or KD, and finding what their favorite meals are and collaborating a collection around the superstars?
Yeah, we've in the past we've had the ability to work with a lot of artists, but as we're kind of relaunching back into the marketplace, we've got some pretty cool things lined up in the future with some collaborations. So very excited to get into that and for everybody to kind of see what we got, going on.
Oh man, I'm so impressed with what you do. Everybody, it's yumslife.com, at yumslife. Anywhere else people should reach out to you?
Yeah, through our IG, I answer all of the direct messages. They can get at me there. And then, like I said, the website, email, all of that is available.
And you do high-priced custom commission shoes for the affluent, the wealthy out there?
We've done some pretty cool collabs here as of late where I've kind of hand-painted some shoes and stuff like that. So that's something we've been exploring for sure.
All right, well, I may have to collaborate some happiness food shoes with you, raise some money for charity, commission you, and everyone make money, help people, and have fun, which is definitely what you're doing, my friend. Super talent. Go check him out. Yum's Life. Amazing. Tex, come back and see me. I'll give you more time next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. God bless.
God bless you. Thank you. The incredible edible shoes. They're amazing. All righty. We're rocking and rolling. See, I told you it'd be more Good News Wednesday. If you have not checked out those shoes, you're missing out. They're incredible. If you're a sneakerhead, if you're a foodie, if you are an art lover, it's all in one right there on the bottoms of your feet. You can display the shoes, wear the shoes, stimulate interest, create conversation and lessons around the emotional aspect of sneakers, of food, and of family. Man, and art, of course, one of the most emotional things that we can do. Uh, Amazing. I am so excited as we are rocking and rolling here. Got the seatbelt belt going. Just so happy. I'm going to get out. All right. Thank you. Hold on one second. All right. Next up, Chief Sales Officer. Oh, my boy from Compostables. Here we go. Let's see here. Is Miguel here? I am looking. Miguel, please comment. I am looking for you at Good Pod. We are rocking and rolling. It's more Good News Wednesday. We're a little bit disjointed as we're traveling around and doing our best here. Let me post this up again. I will pin up where to reach me. More Good News Wednesday. We've got so many people in here. Let me take a question at Good. Welcome. Where is Good Pods? Come on, the best sustainable pods for our coffee. Can you comment again? There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. All right, we're 2 for 2 now. It's more Good News Wednesday. I have my friend Miguel here coming on live. There he is. How are you? I am great. Miguel Gonzalez, Chief Sales Officer of Good Pod. And it's compostables or compostables?
It's compostables, but I'll give you an excuse. You're driving, so that's okay.
I'm worse than driving. I got my wife driving me, and I have got the stink eye like 16 times while I'm trying to be of service or value to everyone. She's a I'm blessed. Let's put it that way. It's worth it. Give me an idea, right? We are changing the world when it comes to one of the most consumed products on the earth right now that may not be the best product to consume. You've re-engineered that in order to effectuate, something I think, can save so many lives and so many years of this earth's sustainability. What is exactly a Good Pod?
Excellent. Thank you, David. It's great to be here with your audience. We got a lot of great friends that joined us as well. And also our investor community has several folks have joined us, but great question. So before us has always been plastic, right? So if you think about K-Cups today, Nespresso, and a slew of other single serves, is all plastic out there. So it wasn't possible until today to now consume a great cup of coffee, single serve Keurig Nespresso in a compostable format. And to make something very complicated easy is the whole entire cup, the filter, the lid is made from compostable materials. And when that compostable K-Cup or Nespresso cup is taken to a compostable commercial facility, it disappears back to Mother Earth in 90 days. So it's an incredible technology. Our partners invested a boatload of money, north of $180 million, 8 years of development, but we're now at a convergence point. So I want to make a bold statement. I want to talk to all those Nespresso and Keurig folks out there. You're driving. A lot of folks drink coffee in their RV, at home, at work, at the beach. Folks take their Keurig machines and Nespressos everywhere. And you have an opportunity now to really change the way we take care of Mother Earth. So contact us, work with us. You can reach us in all of our platforms, but it wasn't able to, we weren't able to do it before. We could do it now through our compostable technology.
And the interesting thing is single serve coffee was originally thought of to stop all the waste. Millions and billions of gallons of coffee was wasted by going cold because we would make too much. And I forget what the numbers were, but it was extraordinary. But then we come up with a solution of single serve. But in essence, again, how much plastic are we putting in the earth right now just from the single serve coffee users right now?
Is an astonishing number. It's over north of 14 billion K-Cups and Nespresso pods. The lion's share of that is Keurig because they have 1 in 3 Keurig machines in North America is in a household. But when you think about that, a plastic pod or aluminum pod will last between 150 and 500 years in a landfill, it goes on forever. So our compostables, you can feel great about having a great cup, and then it disappears like an avocado or tomato in 90 days.
And is there a different taste to the compostables compared to, metal or aluminum or a plastic?
Great question. There is no difference. As a matter of fact, we tend to think, and when we drink our coffee, that it tastes better. Remember, you're now brewing a cup of coffee through renewable materials. So it's clean, it's earthy, and you get to experience that cup through a compostable base, a cup in itself. So it's just a great tasting cup of coffee in a compostable format.
And when it was interesting. I had the CEO and founder of VoIP, who now has founded MOIP, he took on the phone companies with VoIP. He decided to pick a fight with the phone company, and then he didn't think that was big enough. So now he's picking a fight with the banks, and he created, money over IP, which is an extraordinary. I mean, it's revolutionary. He's done billions and billions of dollars. You're taking on a pretty big character in Keurig. What are some of the aspects you've been able to raise a lot of money? You've taken your time to do it right. What are some of the challenges of kind of that inherent superpower gorilla when you're taking them on, but yet you have something, a foundation to stand on? What is that like to take on a giant?
It is a lot of hard work and tough. It really is. However, we are in a very clear mission. I don't want to get too fancy, David, but we're here to change hearts and minds. It really is. So when we first started with Keurig, I was there very early on when we came into the office space with a K-Cup, and folks would look at us cross-eyed like, you want me to get rid of my pot and brew this little K-Cup and pay you 4 times the amount of money? And we're like, yes, that's exactly what we want you to do, because you're saving on resources. You touched about on the water. So imagine every time you brew a pot of coffee, most folks brew a pot, then your wife comes in after you and says, oh, that coffee is old, and she dumps that pot, right? So the whole presentation very early on was on around saving resources. Little did we envision, David, that 20 years later, we're impacting Earth in ways that we could never imagine. 14 billion plastic cups. So it is a tough challenge. However, we have innovation. And at the end of the day, right? So if you think about what happened with Sears, Amazon, then you got Walmart coming in and the whole takeover. And I just read a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to plug in Amazon in a second, that Amazon now surpassed Walmart sales. This is crazy, right? So there is an evolution, there is an innovation taking place. We did it right. Thank you for saying that, because it took us 8 years to do this. It's not easy to mix compostable and renewable materials into a cup, but we know that through the right messaging, the right public relations, and then not only our consumers, but our investors, we're going to need money to really take on bigger orders. We're commercializing. We also need to expand on our IP. So we're continuing to do that. But bottom line, it's extremely hard. There's been a lot of sleepless nights in our team, but we know that we will win. There's a very small core group of folks in our company. We're all investors. We put our blood and tears and sweat into this, and we know beyond a reasonable doubt that we have the right technology.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you're a chief sales officer, so you understand sales, and the truth always comes out. And when you have credibility on your side, when you have the emotional attachment on your side, and you're able to quantify the reasons why people should switch over to the sustainable technology, why and how it impacts us at a bigger level, and the capabilities that you've developed over all these years, those are the 5 components that I see in every big winner over time. And if you can detach your emotions from that outcome, because you have put your blood, sweat, and tears and put it into the effort to be everything that you can be, which I know you have, and to consistently every day, persistently pursue what's right, the truth, I know you'll be a great success. I will say one thing. we don't have to re-engineer those minds. What we want to do is just let's all find the open minds, the open hearts, and the open hands out there, because anyone with an open mind will understand the credibility, the emotional attachment, reasons, impacts, and capability of Good Pod. My friend Miguel Gonzalez, he's running away with the greatest innovation to save our earth and also deliver a delicious cup of joe in the morning. Thanks so much for joining me, my friend.
You're welcome, Dave. Thank you so much. And one last thing before we go, did you taste the coffee? Did you drink our cup?
Oh man, it's all over my office. It's not just me. Everybody, I'm only allowed to taste coffee. I got to get the decaffeinated one because they do not allow me to have caffeine. I'm sure you can understand why. But
yes.
Man, it doesn't. My opinion doesn't matter. It's my entire office. So when you get me begging you for more, thank you so much for sending it over.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Have a great day.
You got it. Goodpodcompostables.com. Good with a GUDBOD. Compostables.com. Join these guys. Let's save the earth. Thank you so much, Miguel.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right. We got this thing rocking and rolling. See, I told you it'd be more good news on Wednesday. That is some great news and a great company, great entrepreneur. You can make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. Even if it's one of the biggest companies in the world, you can take on the phone company. You could take on the taxi cabs. You could take on the banks, and you could take on Keurig. If you have the truth on your side, and the truth vibrates the fastest. We're vibrating faster here because it's more Good News Wednesday. That means all we have is more good news for you. I have my friend Scout Sobel waiting here at Scout Sobel, CEO of Scouts Agency. He's a best-selling author and, of course, also a podcast host. And we're going to discuss entrepreneurship and his new book, which is right up my alley, The Emotional Entrepreneur. All right, there he is, Scout. Come and join me. More Good News Wednesday. We're rocking and rolling. It started a little bit choppy, but when you're persistent, it's just more good news. It's just indicating we got a better place to be. There she is. How are you?
Hi, David. Good morning.
Good morning. Congratulations on your new book.
Thank you. I have it right here. I'm so excited. Launching a book is definitely a whirlwind.
Oh my gosh, I was a sports agent. I wouldn't want to be a book agent. It's a messy business. But, you talk about the emotional entrepreneur, and I try to identify the emotional aspect of being an entrepreneur. How do you define emotion when in the construct of what you're writing?
For me, my original relationship and definition of emotions was unfortunately within the constructs of mental illness. Since I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at the age of 20, I had my first depressive episode at the age of 14. And so I have had to redefine what emotions mean to me over the last 15 years. And what I've come up with, especially as I was writing the book, it became very, very clear to me that my emotions are warning signs, guides, mentors. They have my back. They are here to tell me information if I so choose to listen to them in a way that makes them feel safe, makes me feel safe, and I can tune into what they're telling me, especially when it comes to my business.
And with emotion, we can utilize it for our benefit, just like consistent behavior, but we also can utilize it as a detriment with negative thoughts and behaviors and beliefs. And we have to somehow reconcile that, as you have with bipolar syndrome that you have. We reconcile it with our own unconscious competency. We reconcile it with our energetic and genetic inheritance, some biochemical and genetic reactions that are occurring that create our characteristics, personality traits, obsessions, and addictions. How have you been able to transform your own quantum nature to use your own emotion, which are very strong emotion, to create bipolar disorder, to then utilize that emotion and transform it or construct it towards the positive things you are doing, like your book and your podcast and all the incredible things you're achieving now?
Yeah, so it's definitely, I would say, my active healing journey has taken 9 years to get me to the point where I feel safe in my emotions. So if anyone's listening who feels as if they live with really extreme emotions, first, give yourself a decade. Give yourself a decade to really heal and get into it. I was at a point where I dropped out of college. I couldn't hold a minimum wage job. I quit my internship. I moved in with my mom and I was not functioning. And my husband, then boyfriend, said to me, I don't care if you're depressed. If you're depressed and hopeful, I will be in this relationship. If you're depressed and hopeless, I can't be here. And so
I just have to say I love him.
he's amazing. 10 years
Yeah.
sober too. Amazing man. And I decided to add in hope. Sometimes when our emotions are negative, bogging us down, we feel like we're caught in quicksand. Sometimes it can threaten them when you try to change the narrative. So instead of trying to take away my depression, anxiety, psychosis, paranoia, catatonia, I just decided to add in hope and see what it would change about my energy during the day. I decided to add in listing the things I was grateful for. I decided to add in going to support groups. And it took a long time. It took a lot of finding what tool worked for me. There was talks that I would never succeed in society, quote unquote. And once I got enough hopeful energy, enough gratitude, enough strength, taking radical responsibility over my emotions and not playing a victim to the cards that I was dealt, I found entrepreneurship, which allowed me to thrive since bipolar high, high, low, lows, entrepreneurship high, high, low, lows. And I found this beautiful trajectory. But one, it started with taking radical responsibility over my emotions and not playing the victim. Two, it started with giving myself time to heal, knowing that healing is not linear and I will go up and I will go down and backwards, all the things. So giving myself really a decade. And then three, finding the framework where my passion could live that I could be successful within.
It's so aligned with all the different things that I've learned as an emotional entrepreneur for so many years. And that's where the construct of daily practices of hope. I include faith in my hope.
Yeah.
Faith is, the belief that there is an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source that's pushing me to something better. So when I get slapped in the face or have a mistake or lose $100 million, I know that I have a better plan. It's just like, I'm trying to put my hand in a fire and that source is slapping it saying, not. But I find that the daily practices, our shared friend, I saw Lauren Bostic and Michael, they endorse your book, they endorse your podcast. They're close friends of mine. And, we shared about these daily practices. I believe in finding our what, our who we can help and who can help us, how, and learning to prioritize, but applying our why by identifying these triggers of emotion, these triggers of the ego. And then instead of resisting and fighting it, utilizing hope and faith just to get to center and get back onto track and then use all that energy in a better mechanism. And I send those 5 daily practices to everyone. And I'm listening to you going, oh my gosh, Scout totally gets it. And, once again, to anyone down there that wants, to get into touch with Scout, wants my daily practices, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. She's amazing. How important is consistency in your healing and in your hope?
It's the most important. If I go one day without my routine, I have a very extensive routine that starts with no phone for the first 1 to 2 hours, journaling, meditation, movement, putting on a podcast that inspires me, that's good content, that's feeding my soul something. I have my essential oils, I go for walks, I get outside, etc. Sometimes I feel resistant to that. Like, why do I have to have such an extensive routine every day in order to feel grounded and safe? But the alternative is just not really even an option worth thinking about. So for me, I can miss a day, but that's it. It has to happen every day for it to really, one, become automatic and a habit in just the way you live and breathe your life. So consistency for me on everything, emotional healing, business, entrepreneurship, all of the things, podcasting, content creation, consistency, I think is definitely key.
It's so interesting because it took me years not only to realize what you have learned, but also, the dynamics of an adaptable routine. to almost prepare for adjustment. That when I came up with this consistent behavior, this plan, like you said, and those days where it's impossible, then I go to these non-negotiables of my health, my family, the activity I get paid for. So it's almost a refocus or a reconsistent behavior. And then the last thing I want to ask you, you talked about meditation, and you're far younger than I am when I got involved in meditation. Is a life changer for me. At first, just to understand where center and neutral was, but then to find something through meditation. But now for me, it's a transformation, meaning my true secret sauce is an unwinding at the end of the day. I have an unwinding routine where I put my mind, my body, and soul in a position not only to recover, but to access information without those bipolar thoughts or the over emotional thoughts that I have that are getting in my way. And then when I wake up in the morning, I meditate to transcend the information that I receive. Do you believe in any sort of downloads or this type of transformation that I believe in? And how important is, one, recovery, and two, if you do believe in the downloads, how do you effectively bring that awareness, because it seems like to me you do, of a higher power of knowledge and hope?
I 100% believe in downloads and transformation and all of that. I think that for those who are wondering, how does one receive that? It's by getting still and quiet and carving out space to not be amongst the stimulation of social media, of emails, of our bosses, of our clients, of our consumers, etc. So for me, information comes in when I carve out space consistently every single day to just be with myself. I find that the biggest downloads come from subconsciously journaling in the morning, just pen, paper, first thing I do, 20 minutes. The most information comes down. I got the download of my 6-month marketing plan for my book one morning, and then meditation allows me to solidify that relationship with here and with my higher power. I also have been on a very spiritual journey in the last few years, which has been integral to my healing. And so I believe that the answers are in here, but we can't hear them if we don't provide consistent day after day moments to be silent, whether that's meditation, walking, journaling, sitting outside and looking at trees. We so often don't carve out space to just be, and it is in that space that we get the information that we need.
Yeah, I'm right with you, except I even trace calligraphies and have my special beads. I'm a complete freak, but it works for me with no risk to anyone else. You are amazing. Congratulations on the book, the podcast. Where can people reach out to you and find you?
Yeah, you can. The best place is on Instagram at Scout Sobel. In my bio, you can find links to my agency, Scouts Agency, my podcast, my book, all of the things. I'm always super responsive on DM. I don't know if I'm quite the texter that you are, David, but you can DM me and I can answer there.
You're amazing. I can't wait to do more with you. Congratulations. Thank you so much for not only instituting hope in your life, and thank your husband for me as well. What an amazing soul, but also for inspiring us to understand the importance of hope and faith and the mechanisms to effectuate it. You're amazing. I look forward to having you on more shows. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye, David.
Bye bye, Scout. She is increíble, as they say, as Miguel would tell me. I lost my other phone. Anyway, everyone, if I didn't lie, did I, Christina? It's More Good News Wednesday. Just everything was more good news. We got up to a rocky start, and it was an indication that something good was coming. It was testing me, and I stayed consistent and brought this show through with 3 amazing people. I am so grateful to all of you, Tex, Miguel, and Scout. You're incredible. Reach out to them. If you want the 5 daily practices, I'll throw in my ebook, my audio book. I'll sign a copy and send you a copy of my book. I'll pay for shipping in the book. Don't worry. David@dmeltzer.com. 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 Reach out. You don't get unless you ask. Please ask. All right. I'm going to take one more question. We got 1 more minute. It's More Good News on Wednesday. It's not a hump day. It's More Good News Wednesday. Have hope and faith. I promise you that's what you'll get. More good news. How do you maintain control of a conversation when the other person likes to hear themselves talk? Well, you can't learn anything unless you're listening. So have control. in control because they're talking. You're listening and learning. You have control of the conversation because you have the ability to feed yourself, to allow what they're saying to fall away, or to fire it from your life and cancel it away. But you have complete control. You give meaning to everything you see. So look within you. When somebody else is talking, let them. Doesn't mean you have to focus and pay attention and give intention to it. You are in control by listening. You are not in control by talking. All right, everyone. It's been More Good News Wednesday. Incredible day. I love it. Join me every Wednesday for our unbelievable sessions with unbelievable entrepreneurs. In case you don't remember, you can reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com, for a book, ebook, audiobook. I'll sign a book, send it to you, and pay for shipping and the book. Don't worry. Or reach out to me for the 5 daily practices, david@dmeltzer.com. But most importantly, everyone, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Have a great day. Thank you.